As the 49ers Report by Chat Sports continues to grow, we want to continue to involve you on our shows, and I'm excited shortly to tell you about the Hi-Ho app, a Q&A app that will allow you to get your voices and your questions featured live on a 49ers Report show here in the future. Again, I'll tell you about that coming up. Let's kick off this Niners mailbag with this question coming in from 21NC Dorado. Is there a chance to sign either wide receiver Davante Adams, Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, or Michael Gallup next offseason, hoping Jimmy Garoppolo is traded elsewhere to have more cap space for Fred Warner and wide receivers to the offensive mix? Also, you have to factor this in. Nick Bosa is going to be due for a contract extension as well. I think that this year will be telling as to what the Niners are going to do at the wide receiver position. Those are some big names that you asked about there, and all of them are going to demand, let's say, $20+ million. So, yeah, trading Jimmy Garoppolo is something that will probably have to happen to free up cap space, but the Niners, as long as they're fielding a competitive roster, are always going to be willing to spend money and be aggressive to chase Super Bowls. And next offseason, I expect no different, especially if the 49ers get close this year to competing for the NFC West and the Super Bowl. Let's move on to this question from Sion. My guy, appreciate you tuning in to the 49ers Report. Is it true that the 49ers were penalized for practice violations? For those of you who are just joining us, yes, the 49ers have been hit with practice violations, that according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Here's the report right here. NFL docked the 49ers for a violation of offseason work rules during rookie minicamp. It was an infraction that was flagged due to a social media post that we believe was sent out by the 49ers main Twitter account as well as on Instagram. It is unclear, though, what exactly the penalty is, whether or not the NFL is going to take away draft picks, if it's going to be a financial fine. Whenever we find out what happens with that penalty, Sion, we'll be sure to keep you updated here on the channel. Let's get to this question from American Niner. Shanahan said Garoppolo is in the best shape he's been in and had his best spring as a Niner. Could he have a breakout season? Look, the issue with Jimmy Garoppolo isn't ability, it's been availability. He has been so oft injured and off the field way too frequently for this team, and I think this offseason, Kyle Shanahan finally had enough because he grew tired of trotting out C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins at the quarterback position. And yes, injuries happened elsewhere on that roster, which caused the 49ers to go 6-10 a year after making it to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, when healthy, is capable of being a top fringe 10 quarterback, maybe even a top 15 guy. I think the latter is safer to side with. So I do think that Jimmy G can have a breakout season this year because the offense around him, if healthy, can be really, really good. But also, you also have to factor this in. This is the time of year where everybody comes into training camp in the best shape of their life. So coaches and players are going to pump themselves up when it comes to that. But I do think Jimmy G could light it up this year because Kyle Shanahan is his coach, and the 49ers have a very talented offense. So do you think Jimmy G will be a full-time starter next season? Let me know in the comments section down below. Get your votes in. Type F for full-time, type B for backup. Let me know what you're feeling. Let's move on to this question from Walter Juarez. Jalen Hurd is going to go hard this year, mark my word. Jalen Hurd missed his rookie season because of a back injury. He missed last year because of a torn ACL. After you're watching this show, go onto YouTube and just watch Jalen Hurd 2019 preseason highlights against the Dallas Cowboys. And when you watch those highlights, you will become infatuated with Jalen Hurd. He's 6'4", 220, started his career at Tennessee as a running back, made the switch to wide receiver at Baylor. This guy is a physical specimen who can run all types of routes, but you can also use him in a variety of ways. He just has to stay healthy this upcoming year. And if he's able to do so, you know, if you're looking at a wide receiver 3 competition between Jalen Hurd and Mohamed Sanu, you'd like to go Hurd because you did use a third-round pick on him a couple years ago. Want to pivot to this question from Hanif Razak. What are your reactions to the 49ers signing so many tight ends? When do you think Trey Lance will start? And how good do you think Jimmy G will be in 2021? So let's break this question down in segments. So according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, it looks as though the 49ers worked out Delanie Walker again. This coming after he worked out for the team last year. So the fact that the 49ers are signing Michael Pruitt and then a week later working out Delanie Walker again, that tells me a couple of things. Maybe they're bringing these dudes in as camp bodies. Maybe Shanahan isn't sold on who's going to back up George Kittle. And you just really have to bulk up the roster this time of year for training camp, especially when the Niners continue to suffer so many injuries. When will Trey Lance start? I think the over-under for that is like week 8 when the Niners play the Bears at Soldier Field. Can you imagine if it's Trey Lance against Justin Fields? That would certainly be lit. And how good will Jimmy G be in 2021? If he stays healthy, I think he'll be pretty good, and he'll fend off Trey Lance at least for a little while. As we continue to grow the 49ers report, we want to continue to involve you here on the show, and there are a couple of ways that we can do that. Obviously, you're watching our 49ers mailbag. That allows myself to answer your questions live here on the show, but I'm reading text, and that's not good enough for me. I want to be able to interact with all of you, become more familiar with you, and basically see your faces. And we're going to be able to do that thanks to the Hi-Ho app. So go to chatsports.com/49ers Hi-Ho. Download the Hi-Ho app. Unfortunately, right now, it's only available on your iPhone. And basically what it is it's a Q&A app that's very similar to TikTok. And if you give us a follow at 49ers and respond to the thread that I have already started on that channel, you simply hit the reply button behind the image and the video that you're seeing on your screen right now. You're able to record your question, and we will feature those questions on a future 49ers report. But it's all up to you. If you want your faces and your voices featured on the 49ers report by Chat Sports, it is up to you to download the Hi-Ho app and submit your questions. So once again, go to chatsports.com/49ers Hi-Ho. Reply to the video that I posted on our 49ers page at 49ers. Give us a follow, and we will be sure to feature all of your questions on the 49ers report as a way to involve you, the faithful family, on the channel. It's a great feature, so hopefully all of you listen to me, download the app, and we'll feature you on a future 49ers report. 49ers mailbag continuing here on the 49ers report. This question coming in from Tommy Huxley. Will Jaquiski Tartt, stay healthy this season? You know what's funny, Tommy? You can pose that question and put any player in that question. Can blank stay healthy this season? I am just hoping that injuries don't steal away another great Super Bowl possible season for the 49ers. I mean, last year, injuries just crushed this football team. That's a big reason why they went 6-10, and it cost them any hopes of making a deep playoff run or trying to get to back-to-back Super Bowls and win a ring for the first time since Steve Young was dropping dimes at Candlestick. So I hope that Jaquiski Tartt is going to be able to stay healthy this season, but you can literally pose that question to anybody on this roster, and my answer is I hope so. Wet Noodle 187, do you think the hype on Jimmy G is true or smoke? I think it's real, because when Jimmy G is on the field, readily available for his teammates and the coaching staff, we have seen that Jimmy G can be a successful quarterback. He's like, 22-7, 22-8 as a starter with the Niners? Again, ability has never been a problem with Jimmy G. Availability has been a problem. So I am buying the hype, but also factor this in too, as I mentioned just a little while ago. We are in peak. Blank has entered training camp in the best shape of his career mode. I mean, look at me. I'm looking cut on your screen right now. I could even say I'm in the best shape of my life. Am I lying? Maybe. Am I being truthful? Maybe. So everybody's going to say that about every single player. I do think it's true, though, on the Jimmy G front. Pita Bread 13, these 49ers injuries are crazy. Should the whole athletic training staff get fired? So if you're watching this live, I did address this earlier. The 49ers already fired their athletic training staff back in 2018. Now in 2020, according to Pro Football Outsiders, they did have the most injured team in the NFL in 2020, and 49ers fans very familiar with that because they saw guys dropping like flies left and right on the football field. I don't think the move here is to fire the training staff. It's not like a black and white issue. Could there be some changes in how they weight train, how they stretch, how they do things before practices and games? For sure, but I don't think just depleting your entire staff is the answer, especially with training camp coming up in about a month. I will ask you this, though. Are the 49ers cursed by injuries? Because these injuries continue to pop up and mount for this team. Let me know. Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's hard to say no because these injuries are crazy. Tavarius Moore, Justin School already going down with Achilles and ACL injuries. But let me know if you think the 49ers are cursed by injuries because this continues to just get out of hand and be absolutely ridiculous. For more free 49ers videos here on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, if you want the latest news and rumors, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You can either hit that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/49erstv for the best 49ers coverage here on YouTube. 7 days a week, we're hitting you with free 49ers coverage, covering the latest news and rumors. We go live every single Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Within our live shows, we do question and answer mailbags as well. So we allow you to hop on board, join the show, and I answer your questions. So it's a no-brainer to subscribe. So if you haven't already done so, do so right now by, again, hitting that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/49erstv. Shout out to Tommy Huxley for the super chat. Why in God's name do we have a hockey strength and conditioning guy? I know when you see that, you're like, wow, that's ridiculous, but it really just boils down to sports science. And these guys who are involved in the athletic training component, they know like the physiology and the makeup of the body better than anybody. And they can change their methods depending on the sport. So if you are a strength and conditioning coach or the head of the athletic training staff for a hockey team, and then you take a job with a football team, it's not like you're going to apply the same strength and conditioning methods that you use for hockey players with football players. Now, if that is happening, that is a serious problem. I will also add this to that. Kyle Shanahan said, look, I'm the head coach of this team. This is something that I think about all day, 7 days a week. So I have faith in Kyle Shanahan that at some point he's going to be able to figure it out, and also just chalk up the fact that it comes down to bad luck and the injury rate in football is 100%. Let's move on to this question from Josiah Bands. Do you think that Trey Sermon has a chance at becoming a starter over Mostert or more of a rotation piece? With Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson out with respective injuries, Trey Sermon has a golden opportunity to really prove himself, and I'm going to continue to double down on this take here on the 49ers Report that, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if Trey Sermon is RB1 by week 1. I think he has that talent. I think he has that ability. His season at Ohio State last year was incredible. He averaged almost 8 yards per pop, 116 carries, 870 yards, 4 touchdowns. And in some of the biggest games of the season, Trey Sermon rose to the occasion and he broke out. So I do think that he could realistically become RB1, which would then make some of those running backs on this roster potential trade targets during training camp.